Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Minnesota Rackstars podcast. And this week we have with us Tom Glodowski from northern Minnesota, and we also have Travis with us as well, part of the Minnesota Rackstars. And this week we're kind of discussing how Tom goes about his hunting style up in northern Minnesota. Along with that, some of the strategies that he uses up in the big woods up there. Also, we talk about some of the strategies that he and also Travis and myself will be using this year to hopefully try to put a big boy on the ground. So that's kind of our topic this week. It's always interesting to hear what other people have experienced in the past and what are some of the things that they're going to be doing for the upcoming season to kind of stack the odds in their favor. So it's a good one to listen to as far as previous history, along with some of the thoughts and aspirations of this upcoming season that will hopefully bring us success. So we're going to get going with the podcast. Like I said in previous podcasts here, make sure you take advantage of these codes that we're throwing out there for you guys. A huge thanks to our partners who give us these discount codes for you guys to take advantage of. So make sure you're doing that. And with that, let's get to those, and then we'll get going with the podcast. Hey, if you're like us, you're getting ready for that upcoming hunting season. The one thing we always want to make sure of is that we have the best apparel possible to keep us out in the woods longer. And we've been paired up with Arctic Shield ever since the beginning. And what they want to do for you guys, the listeners, is give you a discount code to get you 20% off of everything on their website, which is arcticshieldоutdoor.com. And if you use the code RACK20, that's RACK20, you'll be able to get 20% off everything on their website. So take advantage of this offer right now. Well, if you're looking for a gift or just something for yourself, Minnesota Rackstars related, I'll tell you what, you need to check out our clothing store that we have. The link is on our social media platforms and on our website, where you can go to it and order some sweet Minnesota Rackstars swag and accessories. I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, when things are winding down, I'm going to put on a movie or watch some sports on TV. The first thing I do is I get into my Minnesota Rackstars sweatpants and sweatshirt because it is so comfortable. And that's the thing, like, if you got a shirt or pants or whatever that are comfortable, you know what I'm talking about. And this fits it to a T. And I am not joking around. This stuff is so comfortable, and that's why we're going to continue to keep this store open online, because it's a great product, everything that they put out. And why don't you guys check it out, and I guarantee you, you'll like what you have on. So with that, we're going to get to the podcast here. Thanks for listening. All right, let's kick it off here. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Minnesota Rackstars podcast. I am joined by Travis and the hoof trimmer. That's what I'm going with today.
That's what he's in my phone as. So.
I've known you for a long time, actually, Tom. Right, Tom?
Yep.
Okay, because like I said, it's just the hoof trimmer to me. But the one thing that I've always known you as is the hoof trimmer. It's always, the hoof trimmer's going to be here. The hoof trimmer's going to be here. The hoof trimmer's got some trail camera pictures. So I've only known you as the hoof trimmer. So if I refer to you as the hoof trimmer every now and then, that's why, because that's who I know you as. But we're here today. You guys just got done working on the farm. Tom, how many years have you been trimming hooves over by Travis and Steve's?
Over Travis, probably, how many years has it been? 12 years?
Yeah, probably 12. We did my first year after college. So that'd be actually probably like 13 now or something like that.
It was before you got married.
Yep. Yeah, a few years before that. Yeah, I think it was that first year after college. I'd been 2012, somewhere in there.
So you've been around for a while, and why don't you kind of give everybody just a little intro of yourself on kind of where you're from, kind of how you got into doing what you do, and we'll kind of start there.
Well, Tom Glodowski is my name, from northern Minnesota, and just got into hoof trimming through dairy farming. Just thought it would be a way to make some extra money.
Did you have to go to school for it?
Yep.
So how many years was that?
I went to Dairyland Hoof Care Institute, which is only a 1-week course.
Okay.
But then it's a reoccurring, so you go back every so often. And so I also went to Ridgewater College for a year.
That's where you went to, wasn't it, Travis?
Yep.
Yeah. What got you into it? What sparked your interest in it?
In hoof trimming?
Yeah.
I was used to work at a dairy farm and used to work with the hoof trimmer that came there. Just thought it's something that looked like fun.
Give me your biggest nightmare in hoof trimming so far.
I don't know if there's any nightmares. I think every day is a nightmare.
Horses, cows, what do y'all do?
I just do dairy cattle,
Just dairy.
a few beef cows, and some donkeys here and there.
So you're from northern Minnesota. How long of a trip is it to here?
About 5 hours.
5-hour trip. And how far do you go south?
This is it.
This is it, further south. Okay. So Travis brought this up the other day. He's like, you know what? We got to get you on here. And every person that I have on here, I kind of do bring us back to your first hunting memory that you have, or outdoors memory, something like that when you sit there and reflect on things, this is something that always comes up in your mind.
Well, the first memories, I suppose, would be with my grandpa. Not hunting, but being with him while he hunted. And that kind of fueled the fire. And my uncle, he got me into archery. And been bow hunting since I was 14. Got my first buck that year.
How big was that guy?
6 points.
There you go.
Last day of season in a blizzard. Well,
and you'll never forget it.
No, I'm pretty proud.
Actually, on the way home today from my sister's place, we were on the way home, and I said, right down that road, girls, is where Daddy shot his first deer. They said, oh, yeah? And I said, yep. It was a nice young fawn. You shot a fawn? I said, well, it did have spots on it. There was no spots on it, but yeah, we went out, and it was one of those things where my buddy and I went out, and I've never shot a deer before, and we wanted to get one under our belts, and I just said, hey, are we shooting the first thing we see? And he said, yep. And I said, all right, sounds good. Let's go for it. And I thought it was a little dog coming in at first because I heard some dogs barking in the distance, and it was about the same size of a dog, but it ended up being a nice little fawn. Tasted pretty good, but yeah, ended up being a long hunt, but I'm not going to go down that road. It might be too graphic. The next question, I actually asked Nick this one the other day. I don't know if you heard it, Travis, so I'm going to catch you off guard here maybe. Or maybe you prepped for it after listening to the previous podcast. I was coming home on the plane. We went to Nashville a couple weekends ago, and I was coming home on the plane, and I was just thinking to myself, everyone on this plane has one skill that is better than anyone else on this plane. Everybody has a skill. And it can't be your occupation. Travis, what is the one skill that you have that you feel is better than most?
I did hear this, and I was kind of thinking what I would say if I ever got asked, and I was drawing blanks. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm great at anything, but being kind of okay at most stuff is, I think that's Nick kind of had the same answer. And I thought, yeah, that's kind of me too. But no, nothing. I would say kind of maybe just problem solving. Like you get an issue and just kind of trying to think outside the box and make stuff work. And on the farm, it's either you make it work yourself, how you rig it up or whatever. Otherwise, you spend thousands and thousands of dollars at a mechanic or dealership or something. So just kind of making stuff work when you're in a pinch.
Yeah, I could see that. Also, sitting on a plane, you got people that are maybe just business people, live in the city, and if there's anything wrong, they're going to call somebody. I mean, you could hang your hat on that. That's good. What you, Tom?
That's a tough question to answer. I think I could probably sleep better than anybody.
There you go.
Nasty situations, but
well, let's go down the hunting road here a little bit. Let's do this here before we get to current state of deer hunting. Take us back down memory lane here a little bit. Last year, how'd last year's season go for you?
Last year was challenging. It went really well. I personally did not shoot a deer. My daughter, she got her first buck with a bow, which was a goal for me. My cousin Cameron from Alaska, he came up and he came for rifle season. He shot a pretty nice buck out of my stand.
Out of your stand. Which was this a target buck?
Yeah, it was a deer that I've been chasing for 3 years.
Okay.
Should have had him 2 years ago, but my muzzleloader had a misfire.
No. How big was this buck? What was he?
He ended up netting 163.
Jeepers. Yeah, that's a good deer.
I think he
Was he the biggest one you had on camera?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's dead. So.
He's dead now. So he got that one. What else happened last year?
That's about it. There was a couple other bucks I was chasing, but well, one other deer last muzzleloader season. I had a nice buck on camera that, very nocturnal, but I have a food plot, and if you time it right with cold weather, you got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at the forecast. Wednesday was going to be 20 below zero for a high. And I was like, that's the day.
Mm-hmm.
Took work off. I come home Tuesday night. My wife's like, oh, good, you're home. You can go to Jake's band concert tomorrow, which is at 5. So I did that. Got a picture at 5 of my target buck. It's like, okay, well, tomorrow's going to be cold again.
Yep.
He should come back out. Well, that night I had Timberwolves move in.
Oh, no.
And that was that. Pretty much.
So, as far as wolves go, you have a bunch up there?
Yeah, we got plenty of wolves.
Where are you roughly? I mean, you don't have to give the exact town or just like...
I'm pretty close to Canada.
Okay. So do you guys battle wolves quite a bit up there?
Well, how do you battle a wolf?
But I mean, like, do you have have a high number of them?
We got plenty of wolves. The state trapper does remove wolves.
Okay.
When they can. I
Yeah.
guess.
Do you run any cattle up there?
Not me personally.
No. A lot of farmers have issues with.
Yeah, there's a lot of beef cattle up there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely making their way south. That's for sure. And I can't imagine the amount of conflicts that they cause up there, because they cause them down here, and obviously they work their way from the north, working this way, and actually they work their way out of the west over here too sometimes.
They don't have to go too far to around here.
So what is you said food plot? When you time that right in the winter, what do you have in that food plot?
I use beans and corn primarily.
How many acres are you running there?
5.
5. How long does that usually last you? Because like for me around here, I mean, it kind of depends on the year too and the deer herd and whatnot. But last year I had a decent amount of corn still standing in my field, and I actually asked the neighbor if he wanted to come through and pick it, but all of his equipment was put away already. So I just kind of tilled it under, and whatever comes up for volunteer corn in my beans, I don't care because it's just extra cover for the deer. But what does that look like for you?
No, I'm I fence my food plot all summer.
Sure.
And I don't drop the fence until November. And I still can't keep it long enough. My goal is through January.
Sure.
But usually out by middle of January, early January.
How many deer you figure you're feeding on that field?
The best year I had was probably 45.
Okay.
Last year, maybe 30.
30.
30 deer.
Yeah, and then I had also about 30 elk.
Oh, jeez. That many?
Well, I had on camera at least 18 cows and calves and about 5 bulls.
Wow. And how many tags are available up there for hunting?
In my area, 0.
0.
But these elk are, I believe they came in from the Lake Bronson area herd.
That's you were kind of mentioning too. You kind of figured out why farmers don't really care for elk a whole lot. Why is that?
They cleaned me out pretty fast.
Yeah, they can do some damage. What about fence damage?
No, they didn't bother my fence at all.
Okay. Are you running just a solar panel and electric fence?
No,
wire?
I plug it right in. I got power close enough to it.
Okay.
And I run 3 strands of hot wire.
Okay. So 3 strands, is that all vertical, or do you have 2 strands on the outside, one inside, or?
I got 2 on the outside, 1 on the inside.
Inside, then how far apart in between?
3 feet.
3 feet? Okay.
I use poly wire on the inside.
Okay.
So it's visible.
Yep. You have issues with bear up there at all?
Yep.
Yeah. Because I don't know if it's bear that have gotten into my fence before, or the deer just running around, like you said, not being as visible, and they just run right through it, and all of a sudden they get tangled up in it a little bit, and all of a sudden it's down, and it's grounded out, and it's no longer working, then all the deer come in after that. But I think there's some bear that work their way through there sometimes too.
Yeah, we got bears. They eat your trail cameras if you keep them low enough.
Travis, how about you? Maybe kind of wrap up. I don't know if we ever wrapped up totally. I think you told your story about your deer last year already, but just kind of wrap up for those people who maybe didn't hear how your season went last year.
So yeah, I shot that nice buck second sit of the year last year, September 30th, and then I think I took Tucker out once, maybe twice back at home. That's kind of all I hunted at Minnesota. I went to North Dakota for 2.5 days. I didn't get nothing, but saw. What did I? I did see that one nice buck that last day, and that was really it. Never drew the bow back again. Then late season, we went out a couple times trying to shoot does, but never got nothing. As a group, we got a couple. Dad got one. Rucker got one. That was kind of it for archery. Then rifle hunting, Ben got that nice buck, and then I think that was kind of it for out on our land.
I think we should probably go down that road, and being that Ruckert keeps putting us off on podcasts, maybe let's just discuss that hunt that Ruckert shot that one last year a little bit. Go ahead. Why don't you start, Travis?
Oh, what day was it the last day of the year, 30th, or I forget?
It was either the very last day of season, or we couldn't hunt the next day because we had Christmas or something like that.
Yeah, it was the last day we could have hunted. So there was, how many of us when I was, me, you, Mark, Dad? Ben, was Ben out?
Ben was out there too, I think, yep.
Actually, I had a Christmas that night, so I snuck out, but then I had to take off, so I didn't get to be in with all the fun anyways. But yeah, the deer, typically they come out pretty early, but I think it was a little warmer that night because we're all basically all surrounded a hayfield. Typically there's 40 deer will come out there, but that night nothing wanted to come out right at the end. Finally, a few come out from one end of the field. They weren't going to make it to me in time anyways, and I was kind of done, so I left. As I got to the truck, then I think I looked at my phone, and Andrew said he shot. I said, "How the heck did you shoot?" He couldn't see nothing, but there was some snow and stuff. Then we went back. I actually wasn't out for the track, but we ended up getting a nice doe that night. That's kind of how it ended up.
Andrew. You're the man, dude. You're the man. He's the only one to get one down on the ground that night. Oh, shoot. But that was fun. That was a good time. I was mentioning on another podcast that, I don't know what your deer herd looks like up there, buck to doe ratio, Tom, but, so many people are into, I got to shoot a buck. I mean, you got to be able to harvest those does, and some of those doe hunts are some of the funnest hunts that you have because you have a good chance at flinging an arrow. What's your guys' deer herd look like up there? Is there a lot of does compared to bucks?
It's definitely out of whack, but our deer herd is down.
Okay.
So you don't notice it so much, but
what's the reasoning for that, do you think?
Well, we had a really hard winter a few years ago. That took a lot of deer out.
Are you guys in a no feeding ban?
No, we were, but we were able to feed again last year.
Okay.
And I did buy a bale of hay after my food plot ran out.
Yep.
Bale of hay. The elk ate my bale of hay in one night.
Jeez. They're hungry.
Big square bale.
Okay.
I always get a kick. It's like clockwork. The last 2 or 3 years now, those elk have been around your place, and it's like getting a beat that time of year where hunting season's done. You're kind of waiting to see what bucks show up to find sheds, and me and Tom send pictures back and forth all the time. It's like clockwork every year. That middle of January, all of a sudden he'll send pictures of just a pile of elk, some big bulls too, actually, just right on his food plot. And food plot was good, and then within a week they'd clear it all out for him.
Yeah, that stinks because, I mean, your food plot is there for the deer.
It's there for the deer.
You know, and then all of a sudden here comes a herd of elk in, and it'll just demolish it, I'm sure. It's just like, you know, if you could hunt the elk, maybe, you know, it'd be like, oh, cool, you know, the elk are here. But I don't know. What's your take on it? I mean, do you enjoy feeding the elk, or would you rather have the elk stay away from you?
It was really neat seeing that first one.
Yeah.
You know, but then there's 5, you know. Now there's 15, you know, now there's 20. So that's, the cuteness has faded away.
Right, exactly. How about this here first? Let's talk this before we go into strategies for coming up for this next year. As far as being a hoof trimmer and in that line of work, is there anything that crosses over into the deer hunting world where you have been educated on something through the line of work that you're in that kind of relates to hunting as well?
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
As far as like the glands in the hooves or anything like that?
Yeah, you know, maybe one thing, and people talk about the EHD in their feet.
Okay.
You know, they get real sick and then they got problems with their feet.
Sure.
Okay, cows will have the same problem. And it's they get high fever in their feet. They got shunts in their feet that will reverse the blood flow to, you know, attack whatever fever they got, or in their feet will just stop growing. And that disruption is what causes them to get bad feet later.
So in a cow in that situation, is it just the medication that helps them, or what has
it's
happened
themselves trying to heal themselves.
Okay.
They're redirecting blood flow.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I just didn't know if there was any correlation there, you know, with cattle and deer. Or
I haven't really. Maybe their reproductive system, but
sure.
the same.
Yeah. Well, let's go into this year. So, first of all, tell me. I don't even know what this is, but tell me the story about the biggest deer you've ever shot, the biggest buck you've ever shot.
Biggest buck ever shot would be muzzleloader. Another day it was 20 below, and I knew of the deer. I had a couple pictures of him, but I never knew if he was a 5x6 or a 6x6, just because of the way the camera was. But yeah, I shot him middle of last day of muzzleloader season, sitting in my ladder stand, and 10 minutes before dark, I saw a deer. Like, holy shit, that's a buck, big buck. And pretty soon I was like, yep, that's a shooter, Only 20 yards away, got behind the bush, and I peeled my gun off my chest. It was frozen to my lap. But he come out, shot, and he ran a little ways. And I was trying to reload. He was still standing there. Then he kind of ran off. I was like, did he only have one horn? In my mind, I was like, that's how I pictured him. Sure enough, he had dropped his antler from the time I saw him to the time I shot him.
No way.
And then I tracked him later and found him. He had just one horn on.
No way.
Yeah.
So what did he end up being?
If he would have had his both sides, it would have been like about 162.
You found the other side, right?
Yeah, it was laying right there.
Okay.
The 6-point side. Found it the next day.
Oh, man.
But no, if we gave him a 16-inch inside spread, it would have 162.
Okay.
And up by you, you're in a big buck contest up there, right? I think you said.
Yeah, he would have won it that year if he would have, stayed on.
Yeah.
And that would have been the second time I won that one.
Wow.
But it was disqualified because it popped off.
Yeah, you can't turn that in.
That is a kick to the nuts right there.
Yeah.
But I was still happy to get him.
What? That was December what?
It was last day. It was around the 15th.
Around the 15th.
I mean, it was a late muzzleloader season that year.
So did you notice anything wrong with that deer that he dropped that side fairly early? I mean, most deer in Minnesota here, they don't really start dropping until I mean, the bulk of them, when you really start seeing them drop, you're looking February-ish, March. Late February, March is when they really start.
Yeah, up where I'm at, it's not uncommon for the biggest bucks to drop the earliest.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, even for this year, for example, I had 4 one-horn bucks between December 31st and January 1st.
Wow.
In just 2 days.
I suppose it's a whole different, world up there as far as temperature goes and stuff. And
a few years ago, I had the 2 biggest bucks I knew of. One dropped before Christmas, right before, and one dropped the day after.
Wow. So if you're going to win that big buck contest, you got to get them early, man.
Yeah, you got to get them.
All right. So moving forward here into this season, what does the buck forecast look like for you up there?
That's hopeful. No idea yet. I have no cameras that I have checked. It's a little early yet.
Do you run cell cameras?
I have a couple.
Okay. How many do you run total?
Cameras?
Yeah, roughly.
I don't even know.
A lot?
Well, every year you buy a couple. Every year you throw a couple away.
Yep.
So it's somewhere around 20.
How many acres again did you say? Roughly do you hunt?
Well, I hunt almost all public.
Okay.
In 2 different counties. So
okay,
it's
sure.
Big area.
Yep. So you're not, you probably had a few bucks that you feel made it through last year.
Mm-hmm.
Feel they got good size to them, good age structure.
There's 2 that I'm, that weren't dead in January.
Okay,
so.
Nice. So let's talk about your strategy moving into this year on how you're going to put one of those down. What are your thoughts? There's got to be some strategy that you're thinking about.
Yeah,
try to get him here, or there, whatever, or food plots, or.
Well, it's on my food plot. If I kill one on my food plot, it's going to be in December.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not waiting till December to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be, get in there. There's one buck I'm after. I'll be after early season, and it'll just bounce around in the woods.
What do you use for? You a saddle hunter?
Yeah, saddle.
Okay. How long you been doing saddle?
About 5 years.
You just kind of dabbled into it a little bit this last year, didn't you, Travis?
No, I didn't. I have it. So I got a saddle for 2 Christmases ago. I got it. Was planning on using it, and I shot that buck second sit. So I brought it with the South Dakota, but I've actually never been up a tree with it yet. I never even put it on yet.
Sure.
So I wouldn't even say I dabbled in it yet. It's sitting in the garage and haven't used it yet. But I'd like to. I think they'd be. Well, I guess I can't really say I've never been in it, but I would think that they are going to be. It'd be really nice to figure them out and use them. We'll see.
What's your take on saddle? Obviously, you're still doing it.
I would rather hunt out of a tree stand that's already set up and ready to roll. But I just got too many places.
Yep. That's like myself. Being that I'm becoming more of a mobile hunter myself, we were just talking about hunting spots that get overlooked. And I did that once last year on purpose, and I only had like 45 minutes to sit, and I hopped in there and I saw about a 150-inch buck.
Yeah.
In a spot that I was like, you know what, this spot looks really stupid. I'm going to sit here. And sure shit, like, saw this buck and came home, looked at it on the computer. I'm like, holy freaking Lord, this is a big deer. And I didn't even know it. I thought it was just a little scrub, but I tried grunting at him or whatever, and nothing happened. But that's one thing that I'm going to try to do more this year. But I've been on the edge, like, do I get a saddle or not? I don't know how it's going to work with. I've heard people say both ways when it comes to filming. Some people have said that it's tough to film out of a saddle, and other people said, no, it works just fine. They feel it works a little better. I don't know, but as far as being mobile, obviously there's no better way as far as, being light, and being able to move around and not work up a huge sweat, carrying everything and getting up and down.
For me, it's not even that with the weight. It's trying to tunnel your way through the thick brush.
Okay.
With, you got your bow in one hand.
Yeah.
Now if you have a stand in the other hand, because you can't go on your back because it's going to catch everything. And then you got to move shit and get.
Yep. What are you using for climbing sticks?
I just, what are they? I got some new ones for Christmas this year, so they're tethered.
Okay, yeah.
Skeletor.
Okay.
I haven't even taken them out of the box yet.
I'm using the Latitude sticks, and holy Lord, what a difference those make compared to some of the other ones I was using. It's just like, about the weight of this pen right here. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. Is that what you have too, Travis? Those Latitude
Yeah, I got them
sticks?
for Christmas last year too.
Yeah. No, they're pretty slick. So bouncing around, do you have an idea on where one or both these bucks kind of quote unquote core areas are
Well,
during earlier season?
yeah, one I do, the big one. And if I happen to kill this deer, I know what tree it's going to be out of, but it's going to be in late October. So.
And is he going to be coming to a scrape? Is he going to be coming
Yep,
to the
he'll
food
be
source?
coming to a scrape.
You got mock scrapes going?
I have. Not right now, but
So how do you prep your mock scrape?
just licking branch.
So
That's
like
it.
branches that are already there, or do you put a
No, I'll put
fake one in? Or
what I want is an oak. I want an oak branch with leaves on it.
Okay. And then about chest high or so. Now, do you put artificial scent down?
I don't. I don't want to come back.
Okay.
I mean, I would. I probably will this year, but
Sure.
when I get it going, I'm not touching it again.
Yep. I know last year I started dabbling around with some different styles of mock scrapes, and yeah, there's some out there that work pretty good compared to some other ones, but a lot of times I make my scrape and I piss right in there, and that's kind of starting it up, and see you later.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah, exactly.
This big buck you're after, is that the one where you get pictures of him right by the highway?
Yep.
So Tom sends these. We share trail camera pictures all the time, and this one spot you put up a camera, which like I can say it's by a highway, no one's going to figure it out, but you have multiple pictures of this buck because you just jump off the road and set it up.
It's right next to the railroad. Nobody's gonna hunt there, and I don't care if my scent is there. It's a crossing point.
You send pictures of this big. It's all 150, 160 buck. You've had pictures of cars in the background driving right by it. And his buck standing right, basically
No way.
15, 20 yards off the road, not even.
Nope.
See, that's kind of what I was getting to. Like, that's a stupid spot.
Well, it's a spot you're not gonna sit ever. It's just a
Right. Yeah.
good spot to put a camera.
Yeah.
See what's there.
But it's like, if he's around there, there's a reason why he's there at times. You know what I mean? If he, especially a mature buck, will move for a reason. They're not like a yearling will just start prancing around until it, maybe comes the rut or whatever. But if you're, maybe that's when some of those pictures were, I don't know. But, you get a mature buck in velvet or just after he sheds velvet before things really get kicking off. If you get pictures of a mature deer, they're there for a reason because they feel safe and, they've never really been in harm's way, kind of being in those spots. So that's crazy that there's vehicles in the background in some of those photos. That's sweet. Yeah, so you're going scrape, you're going late October, you got the tree picked out, you don't have pictures of him yet this year.
No.
You said, okay, so bow, we were talking earlier, you're looking for a bow right now. What's your bow setup look like?
It's 2020 Elite Ritual.
Okay.
Nothing fancy, just
So I'm looking for a bow myself, and I put it out there on social media a couple weeks ago, asking people what their thoughts were. A lot of people are talking darting, and they've thrown that out there quite a bit, and that's something I might look into a little bit. But tough part is I talked to somebody else after I put that out there, and he said he just came back from buying a new bow, and he goes, plan on spending over $3,000, and I'm like, holy Lord, it's just insane.
no. I bought my bow on eBay brand new for $400.
Oh, there you go.
The only bidder on it.
Nice. All right, Travis, what's your strategy going into this year? Let's hear it.
I don't know. One depends what shows up. Every year it's always a little different. The bucks show up, But one buck should be around this year that we had pictures of quite a bit last year. Found his sheds, or one side of it, I guess. And if he does the stuff what he was doing all last summer, last fall, I think me or Dad got a pretty good chance at getting him probably in the same tree I shot my buck out of last year. It's a spot that the deer it's been proven year and year that's just a good early season spot coming to hayfield. But yeah, like I said, we'll see what shows up. We'll see how much he grows too, because he definitely got trying to up the bar a little bit more every year. Like the buck I got last year, it's kind of, I would say it'd be kind of the bottom of what I would want to shoot this year. But the buck that we found the sheds to, the matching set, that big one, we never had a picture of him till middle of December last year. So I mean, it might be something that maybe I'll hold out for him if nothing else good shows up, or maybe just go to the west over here a little more this year. I was kind of hoping to last year, but that never really worked out.
Yeah, you'll be holding out for him until somebody else sends you a picture of
Yeah,
him laying in the back of a truck.
What would happen? But I'm pretty confident, though. If he survives, though, he will show up again, I think, because
He's going to be a good deer.
Yeah.
He's going to be a really good deer.
How about yourself?
One thing that I've kind of been talking about is first things first is like, I'm going to kind of go away from running so many trail cameras for a couple different reasons. Is one thing is I've been turned off at times, or not really motivated to get out and go hunting because of my trail camera photos at times. And I really want to, I know there's good deer around, don't get me wrong. There's good deer around, but I'll run a few cell cameras, a couple other ones with just the SD cards, but I'm just not going to put 100%, of my effort and thoughts and energy into those trail cameras. I know that a lot of the deer around my home place here, the good up and comers last year, every one of them, I think, except for one got whacked. So that's kind of, it's not frustrating because I'm hoping those people that shot those deer were really excited. You know what I mean? And these deer aren't just around here for me; they're for everybody. So I hope those people, who shot them really appreciate those deer and whatnot. But I kind of was really conservative with hunting my property last year because I kind of wanted to give them a spot they could maybe hang out a little bit or make it through another day or whatever. But yeah, most of them getting taken down. I'm just like kind of Travis said, I'm just continuing to try to raise the bar, even if that means I don't shoot a single buck. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things that I'm looking at. But I really want to, my goal this year is to enjoy hunting again, if that makes sense. Because for me, it's like ever since trail cameras have really taken off, you know every deer. So like when I saw the deer that I shot back here, in the snow, as soon as I saw that deer, I'm like, oh, that's him. There was no real element of surprise, like, holy shit, what's this here? Like, man, that's a good deer. It was like, oh yeah, I know that deer. All right, I'm gonna shoot this deer. You know what I mean? Like it's all like it's premeditated because you're running cameras, and all of a sudden, yeah, here he comes, and bang, you shoot him. So I kind of want to relive that old school hunting style a little bit, and just kind of, what, this deer looks good, instead of, well, it's not the deer that I have on camera that's over here or whatever. I ran cameras last year. I have a pretty good idea what's around on the properties. You come that rut or, pre-rut, bucks start moving around a little more, or late season, like you always talk about, you're going to get that surprise buck, But throughout the early parts of the season, you have a pretty good idea which deer are out there. And I just kind of want to get back to that. I'm going to go out there because the pressure's right. I have a good wind, and I'm going to go out there. Not, I'm going out there because Big Bob just showed up on camera. You know what I mean? Like, or 2 days ago he showed up on camera. I want to go out there and sit there and be on pins and needles because it feels really good to me to be out here right now, and I feel like there's a good chance of shooting a deer. Not, should I even go out because I haven't had a single picture in the last 15 days? So I kind of want to get back to that mindset a little bit of going out there, finding a spot, being more mobile this year like I talked about. We own multiple properties. We have multiple permission properties. So I can kind of bounce around to different properties. I'm not going to wear out one property. And that's kind of my focus this year is going to be move around. And if a deer comes in that I really like, I'm going to go for it. You know what I mean? Not, I don't know, should I or shouldn't I? I think trail cameras have taken a lot of fun out of hunting to some degree, but it has also added a whole new element of fun too, which is what you guys are just talking about, sharing trail camera pictures. That is a hell of a fun time doing that stuff.
Well, one of my most favorite things to do is to pull the card out of a camera that's been there for 3 months.
100%. We actually have 2 cameras going out in South Dakota right now, and we put new batteries in them, and they're on solar panels, and they have been going. Well, we were out there in April. It's the first week of April, I think, for turkey hunting. And those cameras should be going unless a cow or something knocked them over. They should be going. So we'll have intel, and it's not on cell mode. It's just an SD card running. And we're going to go out there probably around like that August 10th or so. We're going to go out there and just make sure stands are set, trees aren't blowing over or whatever. We're going to go out there around that time frame, pull the SD card, put it in the computer, check to see what's on there, download all the photos, and then flip it to cell mode and head back home here, and then we'll get pictures as time goes on here, because we usually go out there around that MEA break, which is around that October 17th or so. So we'll have cell mode going here right after mid-August or so. But yeah, like you said, going out there and checking the cameras, it's a blast. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like I said, that's kind of my goal this year as far as strategy goes. Scrapes, kind of like you said, scrapes are going to be a big one. Also, another strategy I'm going to use this year is kind of the strategy that I used last year. And the spot that I went to, where it was like, nobody's going to be sitting in this spot, I sat it once after that, and I saw a decent amount of deer. So it's like, I know this is a good spot now, and most people wouldn't even think about, sitting there. So I'm gonna sit that spot or similar spots to that, on the farm. So that's kind of my goal going into this year, and I think that with that strategy, and kind of like I was talking to Mike, when a person goes out and you haven't had trail camera photos of a deer in 2-3 weeks, whatever, you go out there like, should I even be out here right now? Nothing was showing up on camera. I think going out there just with that optimism and confidence does a lot for a person, not only their mental standpoint, but also just, I don't know, the vibe. I may sound crazy, but I think sometimes deer can feel your vibe. I guess you could say it. It sounds weird, but it's just like when you go out there with a shitty attitude, you usually don't see much. If you go out there with a positive attitude, it just seems like you see more deer. I don't know. I could be.
That's why Travis always skips out to his stand.
Yeah. Love you, honey. Bye. I don't know. What do you think about that thought, Travis?
I kind of agree. I mean, there's some people that claim that's a legit thing. That's why you got the different camo that's supposed to keep it in or out those, I don't know,
the energy.
Yeah. It kind of seems like, too, that's something like, I guess, once they being happy, but just kind of like goofing off. It's like you're just not paying attention, not caring. All of a sudden, you're not thinking about it. All of a sudden, bam, there's a deer. I know, like hunting out west with Andrew, we'll be last day just screwing around, just kind of walking through stuff, thinking hunt's done, we're not seeing nothing. All of a sudden, couple minutes late, all of a sudden, boom, there's a big buck, within shooting range almost, and just not really caring sometimes does change the game a little bit.
Let me ask you this, Tom. when a deer comes in and you don't want to spook it, you don't want it to be alarmed or whatever, and it comes in and it looks at you, do you stare it in the eyes or do you look the other way?
I can't help it. I do.
You stare them down? you look right into their eyes?
I do.
And what are they? I mean, do you feel they act a little different? Do they get more on edge, or they say, "Well, it's just Tom up
they
there.
do
I'm
the
out of
head
here."
bob and look around, whip their head. Yeah, I don't know. I know you're not supposed to do it, and that's why I do it.
You say one word, I swear to God, you're going to get shot. You read my mind right now, Doe? You read my mind.
There's a guy on that Chandler on Working Class. He says when he gets pinned down by a doe, he'll do the flinch thing at him. You ever hear him say that? Like he's in the stand, there's like one doe has got him locked down. He does the flinch thing, though, just real quick, and it spooks him off, I guess. But I've never tried it.
I have done that.
Really?
Yep, got them out of there. Just
They blow at you or anything?
no, they
just
usually run away and then
go.
blow. But usually, instead of blowing right there,
They blow further out then?
if they do at all.
Sure.
And I haven't done it too many times, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I never get busted.
There was a show. It was called Jimmy Big Time. I don't know if anyone of you.
I remember that. I remember Jimmy Big Time.
Jimmy Big Time, and he was kind of a comedian in the deer stand, and he was up in the deer stand. This doe comes walking in, and he quick turns his head. The doe's looking right at him, and he quick turns his head to the cameraman. He goes, "If you move really fast, they can't see you." And he'd look back at the deer. He'd swing his head back the other direction. He'd look back the other way, and he'd move his arms real quick and then stop and back down. That doe's just beating the piss out of the ground, just blowing right at him the whole time. Oh, shoot. That was a pretty good one. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my strategy this year. I have really good spots out of state to hunt. I didn't draw a rifle tag out there. I thought this year I was going to be able to draw a rifle tag out in South Dakota. This was year 3 for me. And in the previous years, usually year 3, you get drawn for a rifle tag, and I wasn't able to draw one. So it'll just be archery again out in that neck of the woods. But, yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to be bouncing around here. Like I said, I just want to be more mobile. That's one of the things I'm going to try to focus on this year. I actually have all my solar panels. I saw them out here.
I saw them.
They're all sitting in the sun right now, just charging. They're ready to go. I just need to find some time to go out there and set them up. But it's one of those things. I'm not going to put too much effort into the trail cameras. I'm going to put more effort into just I'm going hunting because it's a really good day, and I got a chance at maybe seeing a good deer in this spot because of history and kind of go that route. So that's kind of my strategy going into this year. Yeah, I don't know. I know you got a couple cameras going this last week. You get some intel coming in. I know I got other people that are sending me pictures right now, and I have sworn that I don't share information with other people when people send me their trail camera photos, but there's a couple people out there that have some good bucks on camera right now, and I won't say who they are, but I appreciate those people sharing them with me because I like seeing them and discussing that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. What anything else you want to hit on or something, or maybe Tom left out that you think might be worth talking about here, Travis, before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of much. I think Tom owes Joe a thank you for. So years ago, before kind of my podcast just first got going, so we were trimming. Usually we'd start trimming. I'd run to the house, get something to eat, come back out. Tom always had headphones on, just listen to music or something at the time. And Joe, you told me about listening to hunting podcasts. This was, I don't know, 8 years ago, maybe more when they first started. I told Tom, I said, "You ever listen to hunting podcasts?" And you asked me, "What's a podcast?" And now that's all you listen to now. Hunting podcasts.
That's all I remember that when you sent me a link. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a look later. And then I started listening to it. I was like, man, I was actually really into it.
Yeah. And it helps time go by, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't listen to hardly any music anymore. It's just
I'm the same way. You know, I teach, but then I mow lawns in the summer, and it is from first lawn to last lawn. It's usually a podcast until, you know, that's why I like talking strategies and to different people like yourself, because you end up hearing the same people over and over and over again, and you hear their you know, mindset, and it's like, yeah, I know what he's already going to say before he even says anything. So it's nice to get other people on there, and I don't know. I guess there's a lot of people like yourself out there who are really good hunters, who, whether it's hunting public or private land, who have had a lot of success that don't get much notoriety, but there are a lot of good hunters out there. And if you know, I'm talking to the listeners out there right now, if you know of anyone that's a really good hunter who's had a lot of success, I'd like to chat with them just to pick their brains a little bit. Kind of like this question right here I have for Tom. Tom, where have you found the most success other than your food plots? Where have you found the most success?
Early season beans.
Beans?
No, early season.
Coming to the beans?
Coming to the beans, right, or alfalfa.
Sure.
Right when season starts, the first week.
So as far as beans go, they talk about strategies with beans, right? So planting your beans, do you plant them a little later? Do you plant them earlier? You know, your growing season is probably a little shorter up there because your first frost is probably a little sooner than ours.
I'm talking about farmers' beans that bud up to state land.
Okay, sure. So you don't have a say on when those are going.
No, you see the deer from the road.
Yep.
You know, you can go in after them.
Scout them, all that stuff.
The other time is definitely stormy weather.
Before, after, or during?
If you can get in there during and then still be daylight after, that's
a really good one. I like that.
I've had
strategy.
a lot of close calls. I've had 2 times where I've had, you know, big bucks. I've had to get out of my stand because of lightning. Get down, wait it out, and then get busted on the way back up.
How many deer do you have on the wall, Tom?
Not enough.
Great answer.
So that reminds me of a picture you sent me last year. So Tom, you know, most people don't know Tom at all, but he's more as diehard as it comes. But that video you sent me last year, you were in your tree, and what was it? That different tree in front of you snapped off.
Oh, I
was, and again, really not stormy, but it was really super windy. You know, you can get in. Deer are just really weird at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a tree come crashing down, crashed right. My tree stopped it from it going down.
That's right. Yeah. Like you sent me that.
It was just stopped right above my rope.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I've had that thought go through my head before. Like all of a sudden, tops of trees are just going like this here, and I'm like, okay, if my tree goes down, I think I'll be okay as long as I'm, you know, on the top side of it and not on the bottom side of it and getting smacked to the ground. But if another tree comes at me, that's where I get nervous. All of a sudden, it's coming down at me to try to swing around and out of the way and try not to get smacked by that thing coming down. But that was obviously a close call.
Yeah, it you know, makes you think a little bit. But I had probably my biggest bull buck was shot on a super windy day.
Okay.
Yeah.
What that guy score?
Net scored 135.
Nice. Dude, I mean, what's a typical northern Minnesota big buck? What does that score get into roughly?
You don't see many that get over 150.
Okay.
You know, upper 140s is top tier buck.
What is your, you know, because I've kind of put some videos out on northern Minnesota hunting, and obviously the deer hunter numbers are really dropping. What's your overall take on, you know, what could the DNR do or the state do differently to help out that deer herd?
I have no idea. What could they do?
Yeah.
Well, I think people just aren't as interested as they once were. You know, probably the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
About, I mean, what's your takes on like earn a buck or
if you have a high deer population and they need to get those out, that's probably the only way they're going to do it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because people aren't after those.
How about antler point restriction?
I'd be in favor for that for adults.
That's a good idea. That's a very good point. Kind of like what they used to do around by us here is if you were, 16 and under, you got an automatic doe tag. But when we used to have to apply for doe tags around here, I think it was 16 under, automatically got it. But if you were over that, you had to apply for it. And it was a drawing. But yeah, that's not a bad idea too. Antler point restriction for whatever age limit, that maybe it's 21 and older or something. I don't know. But
I think up where I'm at, it seems like the younger bucks are getting their first year pass now, more so than they used to. Just on people doing it themselves.
Are you seeing a lot of hunting pressure up there? Because I know around here there's tons of hunters around here.
Yeah, we get a lot of hunting pressure through the rifle season, and then it kind of drops off.
Yep.
Which is pretty common for everywhere. But you start hunting after rifle season, you see very few deer.
I believe it. Oh yeah. Well, it's almost here. It's 3 months away. August, September, 2 months probably almost to the day almost. So it's almost here. Actually, on the way home, we were on the road, and I said, it was right where I shot my first deer, and we turned on the next road, and I said, I always got to watch on this road here. There's always a lot of deer on this road, and it was 11 o'clock. Nah, maybe not 11 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning or so, 10 o'clock. And all of a sudden I look off on the edge of a bean field, and they didn't have the corners planted. So you had rye in there, so it was rye and then beans. And there was 2 bucks running that edge. One looked like he'll be a decent one. It looked like a 3 and a 2-year-old is what it looked like running down there. But you'd be surprised how many good bucks you'll see that midday range or so, especially with deer flies are really starting to pick up now. Those things were crazy today. I actually went out and had to spray my beans with a hand spray. I sprayed them a couple weeks ago, and there was all of a sudden just, a spot double the size of this living room, and weeds were coming up like crazy right there. And I'm like, I sure as hell didn't half moon around this thing and not spray it. So I actually went out there to mow around all the pine trees that I planted, and then I just took my hand sprayer and sprayed that off and killed it off. But I think I'll probably have to do one more spray on the entire field, because the weeds that I sprayed were probably like 8 inches that were coming up. Okay, we got to knock those down a little bit. But I got the little ones that are sprouting now. Those beans really didn't take off till like this last week. And that's, I would assume, is what you've seen with your crops too, Travis, with the heat finally coming off.
Yeah, we got those cold stretches, and it really slowed it down. But this last couple weeks now, that stuff really took off. A lot of corn tasseling around here the last 4 or 5 days, and looking pretty good.
How's it look on your drive? You drive 5 hours to get down here. Like, we went down to Wisconsin Dells the other day, and the crops towards Wisconsin seemed like they were 2 weeks ahead of growing from where we're at here. Wisconsin Dells is kind of south central Wisconsin. Like from where you're at, let's just say where you're at from here, how far ahead are the crops here compared to up there roughly, would you say?
Not that far ahead.
Okay.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Crops look pretty good. There's no dry spell, maybe one dry spot between here and there.
Sure. Yeah, it's just interesting also you start driving, it's like, man, there's a big change from here to there, but I don't know. Here north might be that different zone compared to heading further south. But yeah, that everything is shot up big time this last week, and my beans have too. And I drilled my beans in, and then I ended up putting the wrong spray on it, so I had to replant. And the ground was soft enough yet where I could just take the grain drill and drill right in, and the discs were able to get in there far enough. But I think some dug down a lot further than other ones, and I have beans that are about 10 inches tall, and I have beans all the way down to just cracking through the soil right now. So I got beans all over the place.
I had to replant my beans this year too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Same mistake?
No, I got a really good deal on some old seed. 0% germination rate on there.
No. It happens. But Last question for you, Travis. When are you going to put in your fall plots here, or have you already done it?
We have not. They're sprayed. I was kind of hoping to do it this. At least I wanted to get them worked this last week, because we've been getting good rain pretty much every week. We're getting chances. There's a nice ideally in our sand ground, get that in right before a rain, but we got to get them worked first. Probably get them worked here after we got trim hooves tomorrow again. Then probably later this week work them and find a good day next week or so that before the third crop hay, because we got a busy week then again, and sometime before a good chance of rain the next 10 days, or hopefully get them in, I would hope.
So, riddle me this, and then we're going to shut it down. So, some people will spray and then till and then plant brassicas or whatever. Some people will just till and plant. Some will, like myself, I'll seed and spray if there's a good driving rain. But how is it that, because every time you turn soil, there's new seeds that are going to germinate, weed seeds that are going to germinate, right? So how is it that, or why would someone want to spray and then till and then plant? Isn't that just enticing new weed seeds to grow right away? Or is it the chemical that they're putting down it can't be a pre-emerge, but to me, in my mind, it doesn't add up that you would spray, till, and then plant. Like, aren't you just wasting spray because you're tilling it and now a new seed's going to germinate? I don't know. Explain that to me, because I am totally lost on it.
Yeah, I don't know. For like us, where our food plots are, it's typically really grassy areas.
Yep.
And it seems like every year that grass, because we fertilize it and stuff, so every spring that we should really do more clover and more perennials that keep coming,
Yep.
but we do just your typical brassicas and stuff. It seems like that grass just takes over. If you don't kill that off by spraying it, that stuff will take off before your food plot seed takes off, and it'll overrun a plot like nothing. It takes way less water than everything else, and it'll overrun it. So for us, it's big to kill that off first.
Yep.
I agree. I think that grass turns into sod.
Yeah,
it's going to take many trips over with your tiller to get rid of it.
and if you don't work that all the way over, it's still growing.
Yeah, Dad actually sprayed ours over a month ago, because if you wait till now to spray, that grass gets so tall, you're better off burning it after you spray it to get rid of all that trash.
Actually, my plot right now it's a mixture of rye and some weeds that made its way through, but the strategy that I used the last year was I had my brassicas in, and then I overseeded everything in rye. Well, that rye came back this spring, not as thick as I wanted it to, but there's still rye there, which helps suppress those weeds. But then what I'll do here again probably is I'll come in and I'll seed right into everything standing. Then I'll come in with a brush hog and brush hog everything down, and then I'll spray everything off. But that rye just kind of keeps reseeding itself year after year. So next spring again, I'll have rye coming back up, or even this fall here, I'll have that rye coming back up. So that's kind of the rotation I'm on right now with that. But actually, one other thing I did today was a few weeks ago, I wanted to see the difference between mowing a clover plot and not mowing a clover plot, and I didn't spray it just to see what would happen. And where I mowed, I mean, like you said, we've been getting great rains. I mean, if it's a dry year, that clover might be going dormant and shutting down. But we've been having great rains, great temperatures for clover because it's been cool and wet. But anyways, I'm just going to mow half my clover plot, and I mowed it down to about 5 inches off the ground. That's where my lawnmower deck was at. And the other half, I mean, weeds like crazy are growing in, but the clover and chicory is coming in just as good as the other side, basically. But there's just a lot of weeds in there. Where I mowed, there's hardly any weeds in there. There's some weeds that are coming back, but not a lot. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go with the rotation here with mowing my clover. So the stuff that I mowed was a good month ago already. So I'm letting that come back. And now I just nipped off everything where those weeds were in the clover. So I'm going to kind of keep my clover plot at different stages just to kind of see, how the deer respond to that and what they're going to do, rather than, I mowed my whole clover plot. I'm just going to kind of stage them a little differently when mowing them to see if deer like or prefer it. When it comes hunting season, do they like the shorter stuff or do they like the taller stuff? Because I'll have it both right there for them. And then also I'll get a trail camera going on there too and kind of collect some data on that as well to see where they're in, more, at each time. So I thought, let's do that. Let's, instead of like keeping everything nice and straight and mowed down nice or whatever, it's like, let's let this clover get really tall. Let's knock this one down short, and let's just keep alternating back and forth and let the deer decide which stuff they prefer better. So I don't know. That's kind of something that I thought was interesting today, going out there and doing that. But it is definitely that time of year to get the food plots going. I hope you guys are having a great time. Tom, thanks for swinging down here and joining us. Travis, thanks for swinging over. Looks like we have some other guests that are trying to work their way into the room, so we're going to shut this baby down. So I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for listening. Well, thanks for tuning in this week, you guys, and very thankful for Travis and Tom both coming over and doing this podcast with me. I've never met Tom before. I've just known him as the infamous hoof trimmer, I guess you could say. Every time I talk to Travis, what are you doing? Well, the hoof trimmer's here. So I've just known him as the hoof trimmer. That was it. I finally got to know who he was today and get to meet him. And then he's obviously a great hunter, and he's put some really good deer down in the past, and he knows what he's doing. So it's great to get him on here and just kind of pick his brain just a little bit on some of the things that he does and some of the strategies that he uses out in the woods. So very thankful for those guys coming on here and doing a podcast with me, and also very thankful for you guys tuning in. We really do appreciate you guys each and every week. You guys following us and listening to us and sharing our content with other people. So thanks for doing that. Keep doing it. We really do appreciate it. Also, thanks to all of our partners out there: Arctic Shield, Domain Outdoor, J&R Outdoors, Skullcraft, The Fish Guide, Tactacam, and Fourth Arrow Camera Arms. Guys, hunting season's just about here, so make sure you go over and check out all of our partners. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be doing this right here. So go over there, give them a like, give them a follow, check out some of the products that they have to offer. We really do thank our sponsors and appreciate our sponsors and you guys, the listeners. We're going to wrap it up right now, and we'll have some good podcasts coming out here shortly. I think my next podcast will be talking predators, predators out in the field, in the woods. That's what we're talking about. We're gonna end up talking some thermal image predator hunting with thermal imaging scopes and all kinds of cool things that I'm excited to hear about, learn about, and we're going to bring that to you guys. So hopefully you guys tune in next time, and until then, we'll catch you guys later, and have a great day.